This is CW Iowa Live.
Good morning, everyone.
Sorry, I'm hungry. It's breakfast time.
10 minutes past 9 o'clock right now. Welcome back to the program. Lou and Jackie here with our good buddy, Sheree Clark from Fork in the Road. And, of course, you realize that a week from today, folks, the holiday season officially kicks off. You know, it'll be opening day. The opening day, Thanksgiving going to be here. A lot of people doing the socializing for the entire holiday span. And a lot of times, you know, you're going to go to parties. You might have a cocktail or two and maybe 3 or 4. Anyway, alcohol is going to be involved for some folks. A lot of times, maybe not in others. But there are some things you can and shouldn't do.
Well, there's ways of making it festive without also always having to feel like you have to go to the alcohol. And Sheree Clark, you brought in some wonderful options for us this morning. Great to see you, as well as a little party mix. So we thank you for that as well. But what did you bring? And what are we talking about today?
Well, the first thing you said was actually the first point, and that is the party mix. If we're going to be drinking alcohol, and we're going to talk about both alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages today. If you are going to be partying, it is important to eat. And we don't usually have a hard time with that, but what we need to remember is that you need to eat pretty much the duration of the time that you're consuming alcohol. So let's be bringing out the snacks. You've got a nice little trail mix going on there. So there's some nuts and fruits, and we got some chocolate in there. And Lou, I brought you some sesame sticks because sometimes we like something a little bit more savory.
Yeah.
Right, these are really good too.
I love those things.
Yeah, you get these in bulk too.
Yep. So, but the one thing I would also say is while those salty snacks are a good thing, let's also be thinking about that this is a good excuse to get some vegetables into us. So a vegetable tray with a nice party dip would be a great option too. Plus it's got hydration for you because there's liquid, there's water in carrots
and celery.
Exactly. So that's the first place to begin. Second place to begin, let's talk a little bit about creative non-alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I'm choosing not to drink, or I've got a guest that's in my home and wanting not to drink, it's not a kind thing to just hand them a bottle of water, or worse, tap water, and ask them to just have a good time. What we want to do is make them feel special and honored. So I made you 2 concoctions today I think you're going to really like. The first one in the kind of the squatty glass is got, and if you, Jackie, if you stir it, I don't know if the camera can see it, but there you go.
Is that apples or pears?
That's pear.
Okay.
I took a pear and sliced it
them long ways.
Really thin with a mandolin. So it becomes not only a garnish, but also something that you can consume when you're done. So again, we're hydrating you, we're giving you some fiber and some really good, a good excuse to eat something good for you. 2 ingredients in there. Pear juice, which I made fresh. I actually took some pears and ran them through my juicer. And then just a little bit of ginger soda.
Ginger soda?
Ginger soda or ginger ale.
Right.
Yes. So that is just those 2 things combined. I really like it. If you want it sweeter, you can add more pear juice. You could add a little bit of something like a simple syrup. And then ginger. It's just, I think it's refreshing.
That is really good.
It's a nice thing to take.
Now, if you don't have a juicer at home, would you suggest they get the pear nectar rather than anything else that's in a can or something?
Yeah, the pear nectar in the store is a good substitute. I like it always better fresh, but you know, there you go. So rather than go out and buy a juicer, if that's going to mean that you're going to be creative and helpful to your guests that aren't drinking, that would be one great thing to go.
What does it give it that brown color? Is that just pear juice?
It's the pear. It's fresh pear juice because I didn't add anything to it. Yep, pears are like
Bartlett
apples.
Pears or?
Those are. I don't remember.
Asian.
Anjou, I think.
Asian.
So an Asian pear is a different vegetable. We could do that too. Oh, you just gave me a good idea. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And I would put, actually, if I were going to do that, I'd put some fresh ginger juice. Oh, Lou?
See that?
Yeah, you got me going. Okay.
But if you're carrying this around, it's very festive looking, and people aren't going like, oh, just drinking water tonight, huh? Good for you.
Well, bingo. And that's why I also put those stir sticks in there also.
So it looks like a drink.
It looks like a cocktail, and then people won't be on you.
Hey.
If you give somebody some plastic little sippy cup that looks like a kid thing, you're really kind of calling attention to them, and nobody wants that.
Right.
Okay, the tall glass, I know you're going to really like this.
Ooh.
This is a concoction that I made. It's got this. That's rosemary.
This is rosemary.
And that's actually still growing in my garden. It hasn't gotten.
Really? Good for you.
The basil's long gone, but the rosemary is very robust and it's still present. So I made a simple syrup out of coconut sugar, water, and chopped rosemary. I strained out the rosemary, and then I put some grapefruit juice in there.
Oh yeah.
Topped it off with a splash of San Pellegrino to give it some sparkle and give that a taste because I think you're going to like it.
I love when you kind of move the rosemary around, it just instantly becomes fragrant and helps to stir.
Yes.
So you have a little bit of
that is very different.
Many of the senses getting involved.
Yes.
Tartness to it as well.
It's that grapefruit, and it's a little sweeter because of the simple syrup. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And you can, and you'll sip that.
And the rosemary you might think is bizarre having that in a drink, because some people may not have had it in a drink, but it's really good. We've become accustomed to it, but it is really good. If you haven't tried it, you really need to.
Fragrant herbs, thyme is another one I really like in cocktails. And
very good.
there's all kinds, if you do imbibe in alcohol, there are all kinds of craft beverages that are made using fresh herbs these days. Everything from mint to basil to everything. It's great. So let's talk about cocktails.
That's very good.
Okay, so Jackie, you've got in front of you, you've got a little airline bottle of wine.
All right.
You also have a glass. The glass looks like it's decorative. It's got some, some etchings on it. What that is measurements. So I'm going to have you go ahead and pour that bottle of wine up to the first line. Yes.
Okay.
That
the first line.
First line is 4 ounces. And you'll see exactly what 4 ounces looks like. And there's still that.
Still a little bit left.
The second line, if you want to keep pouring, is 6 ounces. And then that last line, which I don't think you'll make it to, maybe, is 8 ounces. So that's one of the things to keep in mind when we're drinking, particularly something like wine that is self-serve as opposed to beverages that usually your host would be making for you. That is a serving, and so would the 4 ounce line be technically. 6 ounces a serving. 8 ounce would really be 2 servings because it's 2 of the 4 ounce servings. Now, Jackie, go ahead and pour it into that other wine glass that I brought you.
Look at this fancy thing.
That big one, the big bulbous wine glass.
Okay.
What's going to happen is you're going to notice that it looks different.
Like there's barely any in there.
Yeah, it looks like you got short-shotted, a short pour. So be mindful when we're drinking of what it is, what kind of glasses we're using. Another thing to be mindful of is where is the glass when you're pouring in it. If somebody's standing and holding a glass and the host comes around with the bottle and pours into the glass, the host is more likely to give you more, because the glass is not at eye level. The glass is below you and you can't see when it's full. If it's at eye level, like for example at a table, you're more likely to stop at a reasonable level.
Really?
And I got that information from this book that I think you would be interested in. It's actually written by an Iowan.
Hey.
Brian Wansink is from Sioux City originally, and he's at Cornell University now in Ithaca, New York. He wrote this book that I really love this book. It talks about different techniques that you can use to manage your serving sizes. So glasses is one thing, the plates that we put our food on is another. So just be mindful.
Mainly the size of your plate, right?
The size of your plate, exactly. If you have a big plate, you're going to get a big serving. Let's think about the bread and butter plate. If you go to the buffet line, you're not going to take as much because it's not going to hold as much. Right. It also looks better. If you take a big platter and you put a regular size serving, it looks skimpy, so you keep going. So the bottom line here is let's be mindful about our portion sizes. Let's be respectful of people who choose not to drink. And if that's you, be diligent in not caving into peer pressure. If you decided that this is the night you're going to not be on the party wagon, stick to that.
Right.
And there's lots of ways of doing that.
Because there's nothing wrong with that at all.
There's nothing wrong with that, no. And you'll feel better for it the next day.
No question about it.
But those that love to host parties, sometimes, you're doing the same old thing every time as well. There's some fantastic recipes that taste delicious, and you're staying very fresh.
Exactly.
At the same time, so give it a whirl and have a wonderful amount of options for all of your guests that are attending.
I just found out something for the parties that we're going to be going to starting next week. We just learned this here, folks. Remember, if you have your glass below eye level, you're probably going to get more. So when you ask for a drink, you just go, all right, I'm ready. And then you should be able to get more in your glass.
So you're saying, so hold the glass up here the entire time.
That wasn't the takeaway, Lou.
That's what I took away from that. Just hold it way down low and you'll get more. Okay.
It's like this all the time.
Be somebody. Yeah.
We're not judging here. Okay. Well, here it is, some information you can use,
yes,
however you choose
however
to
you
use that.
choose to use it.
And we always say this with Sheree Clark, but fun stemware as well can really spice up a drink as well. Even if it's the most basic drink, if it is just a couple of juices, by putting it in a fun stemware is another way of showing your guests that you care and you're just having some fun.
I want to stay on that bandwagon there. Talking about the stemware. This here, when you said that this is a 4 ounce and 6 and then 8 ounce, that is really handy. And where did you find this and how did you discover this?
I ordered that online and I was looking I knew that there were glasses that told you, but they're usually goofy ones. They'll say something like, I'm looking pretty, I can dance.
Right.
Those those kinds of things.
But this is clever.
It's classy, and you could actually put this on your table, and people would just think it was, just your stemware that you had, and it has etchings. So I really liked that, and I'm going to actually use these.
Now, people have like Amazon Prime or something, have a couple of days shipping, or just go around to the stores here. There's plenty of places you can go around here and look for something like this. Get them. You have plenty of time. You have a week to go.
And so you get a lot of your glassware from local niche shops as well.
Typically, I do. Yeah, like this glassware I got from either, let me think, Funky Finds is where I got that. Yeah, so the vintage stores get a random supply of glasses. It really makes
They don't have to match, though, do they? That's one of the things, too, that you mentioned.
It's more imaginative, and you can pair up what you're concocting with a glass that it would look good in, an old-fashioned glass, a highball glass, a champagne glass. It's all good. And it's a lot better. Remember, the non-alcoholic beverages don't have to go in the plastic solo cups. Let's make those festive, too.
That's true. Yeah, the thrift store is another place you can get some really good glassware from.
If I hold my mixed cup a little bit lower,
you'll get more.
I've got more. I brought more mixed, Jackie. It's in the kitchen.
See, it works.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It works.
So people want to get a hold of you, Sheree, with some ideas for next week, because obviously next week at this time you'll be getting ready for Thanksgiving.
I will be.
What do you eat? Do you eat tofurkey?
No, I don't.
You
it's
eat
processed.
cashew turkey?
I load up on the sides. I love all of the side dishes. So, and I typically try to eat raw and vegan, but you know what? I bend the rules and I'll eat cooked, and once in a while something with a little butter on it. It's
good for you.
But we've talked about that before. If you have people that are coming over that have certain food needs, there's ways of getting around to that as well. We have other episodes people can watch by heading over to our website, weareiowa.com, but also they can get in touch with you as well.
Yeah, drop you a line. How can they get a hold of you there?
So you would hit me up at info@fork-road.com or visit my website, www.fork-road.com. And I want to know what you're drinking.
What we're drinking? Yeah. Send it to Sheree, and then we'll report back.
New recipe.
She's here.
Cheers, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.